So here we are downtown Vračar, one of the most delightful, historical and traditional cool parts of Belgrade. And in this video, I, Joseph the Wing Bro, I'm going to discuss the dating culture out here in the Balkans. So I've done 2 months this summer, July and August, out here. I've done 5 months in Serbia this year and a total of 8.5 months in the Balkans this year. And of the last 5 years, I've spent a total of 1 entire year out here in the Balkans. So that's my qualifications for discussing the approach. So before I get into results, let me just talk about how active I've been and how inactive I've been. So the first time I was out here, Romania, Macedonia, Greece, I was only really active in Greece, and that was in nightlife, partying with my friend out there. Some people say it's Greece, really the Balkans. It's on the peninsula, but maybe that doesn't really count. It's kind of Western. So the first time I was out, I was very much an observer. That was about 2.5, 3 years ago. This time, I've been absolutely getting after it because now I know the noble art of daytime approach. So I've been approaching like a maniac, been getting numbers, been getting dates in Serbia with many local Serbian girls, some foreigners, in Bosnia, the beautiful city of Sarajevo. In North Macedonia, I was only there a month and I didn't actually get out on any dates, but I got a ton of numbers. I'm not quite sure why nothing quite converted. It was January when I was out there. It was literally snowing, so I was pretty happy to get the numbers that I did, and just to be able to go out in North Macedonia and actually do the approach and succeed, because it's a very different culture, and that's what I'm going to talk about right now. So I would say the first thing you need to know if you're a Western guy coming out to the Balkans, the number one thing that's going to help you here is it's different. But the number two thing, which is what girls actually explicitly said to me out here a few weeks ago, is it's very context dependent. It's a very context dependent society. And what that means is people want to know who you are, where you're from, what you're doing here, and also ideally they want to meet you in a good, amenable context. And what that means is, in practical terms, if you meet this beautiful girl, if you meet her in a upscale cafe in a nice area, or a nice bar in a nice area, or a great shopping centre, or down in the centre here, which is quite elegant, if you meet her there, that's much better than just a random back street somewhere. Okay, it's really, and even inside a venue is better than outside here. I've done tons of street approach. There won't be, certainly I don't think there's anyone on the internet who's done more street approach in Serbia than me. And I've noticed a consistent invisible line that you come up against, especially with the 9s and 10s, where just the fact of being out in the street, when it comes to actually closing, it causes more hesitation in their minds than it would do with a girl, just say out in Manchester, out in Barcelona, over in Santo Domingo, over in Brazil, where if they've had a great interaction and they're enjoying hanging out with you, of course you're going to close them, of course you're going to get their number. Here that may not be the case. Even with a premium interaction, and I can speak for some of my own interactions, but I can also speak for some of my wings as well. Balthus from Balthus Day Game, and then also Ephraim from Paul University. Sometimes it's better to speak about other people to illustrate a point. I watched both of those guys put in utter masterclass sets in the streets here. Balthus with his seductive eye contact, I can literally see the girl, almost watch her getting wet. She looks like she's ready to shag him in the approach. And I asked him, how did the follow-up go with that girl? And he goes, yeah, she ghosted me. Same with Ephraim as well. As I say, I watch him put in, there's one or two approaches I watched him in and I thought, that's a straight masterclass. That's not even an approach. That is a clinic in everything. Perfect. Everything was beyond perfect. And, you know, he didn't get the close. It's been the same with me on some occasions as well. So you have to be prepared for that. Now on the other side, if you are in the right place, if you're in a good venue, I've noticed actually they are very amenable to the approach. And they're also amenable in the street as well. So the girls are open to it. But I have found closing here in the street after interactions which ordinarily this is a guarantee. You go, wow, still no follow-up. And it's because they don't have a context for you. They don't have a context. They don't really know who you are. You're just the guy flying in here as far as they're concerned. Even if you say you live in here, it may not be enough. That's what I've started to do. I've started to say I just live here. So yeah, that's a roadblock guys can come to. So in order to combat that, what I would say is do some daytime approach, do some street approach here, but also start to get yourself on a local scene as well, which means start going to the same bars, the same restaurants, the same clubs, get yourself a local crew going, find yourself some wings, stuff that you enjoy, and build things that way, as well as the streets. Yeah, the streets have been fruitful, but it's just in order to combat the kind of flake, we've just had to, we all had to run a lot of volume for what we got. You know, like but in fairness, myself, Ephraim, and Balthus, we are approaching. This is not a flex. We're just approaching top tier because I'm just not interested. I just don't have the time to approach like a 7. I don't have the time. So eight minimum, and really what I'm looking for is 9s and 10s. So that'd be the first thing. If you're new to my channel, I'm Joseph. I'm the Wing Bro. I discuss all things relationship and cold approach related on this channel. I have a specific focus on daytime cold approach, although I also cover nighttime, also cover night game, and I also cover much deeper relationship principles as well. There are a lot of clowns on the internet, and I can assure you everything on my channel is 100% real. There's nothing that I talk about that I haven't lived. There is no theory on this channel. It's all empirical. When guys come to work with me, usually if we do a session, well, I don't normally do sessions with students, but if they do, it's kind of like, oh yeah, this guy's real as fuck, yeah. And if I give advice, I will only give advice if I know it works. If I've done it many times and I know it works, otherwise I just won't give the advice. Okay, so that's the basis of my channel. I came into daytime approach at 37 years old after having had quite a dynamic personal life. I won't say I'd mastered the personal life, but I would say some people would have looked at me that way. I personally didn't feel that way, but some people certainly would have looked at me in that way. And I came into daytime approach at 37 because I live as a nomad, as a digital nomad, a diginom, and because I no longer had the social circle, I no longer had my club promotion to fall back on. I used to be a club promoter, and I realized I needed to be able to bridge the gap in the daytime with these girls. So I learned the noble art of the daytime cold approach from my friend Christian, and since then I've been practicing it all over the world, and I've realized what an incredible high level skill this really is. It really is. And then we transfer it over into other cultures as well. I've approached in, I think, more countries than anyone else I know. And maybe with the exception of Christian, but I pretty much approach in 10, 12 countries at this point, daytime as well, not just nighttime. Nighttime, add another 10 on. Okay, so yeah, those are some of my feats, shall we say. I've number closed a Olympic athlete, a Miss Universe, numerous influencers. I just had an approach yesterday with a figure skater, a national figure skater. So this is what I'm up to. But it's not about me, my friends. The point of this channel is not me. The point of this channel is you. The point of this channel is to help you. And so, yeah, that's why I'm making these videos. If you're interested in starting, or you're interested in finding out more about my own programs, I run immersions where we do 3 days, relentless cold approach. I get you up to my level in 3 days with a highly refined training system. You know, these things sound like, you know, how do you train this? Trust me, you can train it. The last guy that I had here in this city, on the first 10 approaches, he got, I think, 2 or 3 closes. Yeah, because it's so clinical and so crisp, the approach that I show people. It gives you such an advantage. It gives you such an advantage. I've honed this over 2 years with about 10 or 11 of the best guys in the world. We've all honed this together. So now many of them are not public because they have other jobs. A few of them are, and it's just getting us some crazy results. So the last guy I had here, within the first day, changed his life forever. And it's the same with everyone. It's honestly the same with everyone. It will change your life, and yeah, it's just a very, very effective way of introducing people into your life. So let me continue on with my little breakdown of Serbia. But if you are interested, canley.com/wingbro. I'm just about to be in the Americas. So yeah, if you're a US guy or you're interested in traveling to some exotic destinations, which I think is also an interesting way of doing it as well, canley.com/wingbro. So let's continue. Other tips for guys coming out to the Balkans. If you do get the dates, if and when you do get the dates, from your daytime approach, from developing yourself in the evening as well, don't play it cool. Do not play it cool, really, at any point. This is not the Anglo-American gaslight the girls to pretending you're too cool for school and you don't really care, and somehow that works, which it actually can. It just won't work here. It just won't work. So you need to follow up properly. You need to follow up, I would say, yeah, pretty aggressively. They need to know that you're very much interested in them. Otherwise, they'll just go on about their merry way. Yeah, I think all 3 of us, myself, Balthus and Ephraim, we've all made that mistake out here for sure. And so yeah, allow you to sidestep that mistake. So let's say you've had a date, follow up the next day, and basically, yeah, get her out again as soon as you can. Especially if you actually sleep with the girl as well. Don't just wait 3 days like Ephraim did. If you, or like me, like you meet literally like the girl of your dreams in the mall, and you text her like 4 days later. I stayed with this girl until the mall closed. That was when I first came out. I texted her 4 days later and then went out with a different girl that weekend. Moron, yeah? So you've got to learn here, if you want them, you really got to go after them, yeah? And I think they are worth it, to be honest. I think they are premium girls. They're very attractive. Many of them are very intelligent. You will have a good time. They are potential wives. They are potential girlfriends. And yeah, it is worth your time. One thing I'll say as well, you'll know if you get out here, a lot of the girls, it's such a different culture to Western Europe. A lot of them will be they'll enjoy the approach, but they'll be very shocked to be approached. I remember in North Macedonia, there's a few girls who said they'd never had a compliment from a guy before, let alone on an open. And these are girls at smoke shows as well. So, something to be aware of. There might be a bit of shock, but that also plays in your favor as well. Also plays in your favor as well. And again, if you're in a good venue, an upscale cafe, you've got more context to you, maybe with a friend as well, that shock will really play into your favor then. If you actually got a little bit of context to you as well, then you really are onto a winner. And yeah, you can meet some fucking premium girls here, dude. Every day of your life. It's actually insane. Is there anything else I would say? Yeah, I mean, their culture here, I won't go into it too much because, frankly, it's really none of my business. It's just interesting observing how the locals do things. I do think the guys could do with being a bit more proactive, or a lot more proactive, if they want to have a more dynamic dating life. I really don't quite get how people are meeting each other here, to be honest with you. And quite a few girls have said they really, there isn't a lot going on outside of maybe bars and clubs, social circles and so on. So it seems to be a slower vibe, much slower vibe than elsewhere in the world. And so it's good for us to be aware of that, but that does not mean I've not adapted, and I won't adapt to that aspect. I'll go out and I'll make things happen. I'm not going to wait around. Anything else? I've talked about the need to do more volume. I'd say this summer my goal was to get a girlfriend in the first 3 days of coming back, and I almost pulled it off. I didn't quite pull it off, but I met tons of girls that first 3 days, absolutely tons, and had some good options early on. And then it was day 3 where I just met someone. I've done so much approach, now I can tell really quickly when someone's special. Honestly, within like half a second, pretty much as soon as I lock eyes with them. It's weird, but it's happened to me a few times, and it's always been correct, and it was correct. And so that was maybe my 50th approach or something like that I met that girl. We went out and stuff, and she went back to her village. So she left the city, she went back to the village, and we've been in continuous communication, erotic messaging and phone calls, which has been cool, but it's a shame she wasn't here. And then I just continued on my approaching and had about, I don't know, maybe about another 10 dates after that, but nothing quite stuck. There's been a few, actually, there's been a couple that I should have closed, which I didn't, and I got a bit of a feeling with them as well. So I'm far from perfect, I'm far from infallible. I make tons of mistakes at different points. This is a tricky territory, so if you're not on point, it's just gone, bruv, it's gone, it's game over. So you also want to be clinical as well on the close. If you get to the close, you fucking close it, yeah? A lot of attractive tourists as well, and so that's always a good crowd. The tourist girls. I had my favourite date was with, I think she was from Estonia, 19-year-old Estonian backpacker. Two instant dates with her, like one instant date, and then we separated, then we met up again. That was one of my favourite nights because that was my first approach of the night. Also met like Russian tourists and stuff here as well. They've got this interesting, Eastern Slavic energy about them. I would highly recommend guys coming out here to sample it. Guys who are interested in meeting a different type of girl. This will scratch that itch. They are genuinely elegant and interesting. I personally don't think they're for me overall, because I find Latinas to be just on a completely superior level. And I think the Slavic girls know that as well. I've had a couple of discussions. I think they see themselves as they do see Latinas as we can't compete with them, because Latinas are much more curvaceous, they're much more rhythmical and charming as well. But I definitely think for a certain type of guy, for the right guy, these girls are amazing options. And actually there'll be many intelligent, well-accomplished guys all over Western Europe that I think would love to meet a girl from Serbia and would have an amazing relationship with one. Is it a place to rack up bodies if you're like a 21-year-old? Not really. It's just a place to come out. You will find a girlfriend out here, but it's not really a place for that. Jesus. But yeah, you'll find yourself a nice athletic Slavic girlfriend. So is there anything else? Yeah, I mean, I would say, what I'll say about, it's a place that separates the wheat from the chaff out here. The guys I know here who've done well are very, very good. They are good on all levels. They present themselves well. Dress sense is absolutely spot on. Approach is absolutely premium. You know, they are absolutely, especially with street approach. Anything less than a premium approach from a premium guy, it's very unlikely to succeed. But if you're a premium guy and you come in with a really strong approach and a skilled approach, you will have an impact here for sure. Great place for more experienced guys to come actually and just push themselves a little bit. You don't realize in Western countries and some countries I've been in, you're getting freebies without you realizing it. You think you're the greatest of all time, and actually you're getting a few freebies. Bat on that one. I'll tell you what, there's some talent out this evening. It's been a little bit sod's law, or you can sort of feel that way, where I was out yesterday for my final session. There wasn't a lot going on, but I still did a session. Today I'm just going to the cafe just to work, and it does feel like there's some shapes out. One of those things, but I've got to go and work. So yeah, that's my review of the Balkans. That's my review of Serbia. Overall, great experience. Good girls. A place to come and develop yourself. You'll have a plethora of opportunities to approach, but your approaches will have to be on point. I mean, I've seen this with students. It's very unforgiving. Yeah, I've got the recent immersion in my mind. The guy was just, he's really built for cold approach, like to a really good degree on so many levels. I trained him in the way that I advocate stopping the girl and the way I advocate approaching. The second he veered off that, the girls don't even stop. And so that the approach has got to be refined. And you got to mean business, but it's got to be skilled as well. So yeah, it's a great territory. It's unforgiving, but that's what we want. We want to be good. We want the best to be brought out of us. That's the whole point of this stuff. It's self-development. It's self-improvement. So yes, that's my review of Belgrade, Serbia, daytime approach. It's my last weekend here. I shall miss these Slavic beauties, that is for sure. But there's going to be some even crazier girls appearing soon on this channel. So I'll see you boys again shortly. I hope this video has been useful. Anyone traveling to this part of the world, as I say, if you are interested in learning the noble art of daytime approach, honestly as well, I do consult with guys over stuff that comes further down the line as well. So the dates themselves, the relationships, selection. There's a lot of different filters and steps to this process. None of it's rocket science, but basically each time you make a mistake, the thing's gonna die. So you have to do a lot and make a lot of mistakes and refine in order to understand how all of this actually fits together and works. And so yeah, I would recommend skipping the line if you can. Get in touch with the wing bro, because I'm 39 years old. I've made all these mistakes. I'm efficient now. Often guys are quite shocked when I just say, no, do this, and they do it and it works. And it's often something that's not intuitive either. So yeah, and it's just life experience. It's just life experience. So yeah, that's enough blowing my own trumpet here, blowing my own horn. Let's go and enjoy this street for one final time. Wing bro, Josefski, Laku Noć, coming to you here from Republika Srpski.